love the channel and find it useful in becoming a happy retiree. Subscribe today. And there's so much to talk about in the world. Today, of course, the whole Amazon combination. And if you didn't quite catch that, I'm sure you've already heard this news. Whole Foods Market purchased by Amazon or being purchased by Amazon. Yes, your delivery company to your door that used to just sell books, and now they're taking over the entire planet and almost everything we do. But this whole Amazon combination, it just continues to change the world at the speed of light. Literally, I'm going to explain that in just a minute, and crushing every grocery store in its wake. Or is it? If you look at what happened in the market this week, you would think that is exactly what is happening, with close to 40 billion, let's call it $30 billion in one day of market cap loss in companies like Kroger and Costco and Target. And what do they all have in common with Whole Foods? Well, pretty simple. They sell food. They sell groceries. And now Amazon is significantly in that business with the ownership of, when the deal goes through, and it will, Whole Foods Market. $13.4 billion purchase of Whole Foods Market that just was announced Friday. It really shook the world. And if you're in food retail, you're obviously a little bit nervous. And I would say that you're behind the curve if right now you and your staff, your board members are getting together over the weekend for an emergency meeting. What do we do about Amazon? And I will contend it's not too late, because there's plenty of things happening in the food economy that nobody is talking about. So good morning, and let's talk a little bit about this. The world, it just continues to change. It's the singularity is what this is. Remember that, the amount of data and information processing that doubles every so often, and when you continue to compound something that's already gigantic, the world changes at this rapid pace. That's to some extent what the singularity is, but I feel like we are in the middle of witnessing that. And this is one of those weeks that we will all remember, the week that Amazon bought Whole Foods. You are putting the most, let's call it the very first real internet company, pure internet play that we can remember. Remember when Amazon started effectively in the 90s? One of the very first, one of the originals. It's continued its complete dominance over market after starting just with books, going to selling us everything. And we've talked about the evolution of how we shop as consumers. So we do, obviously, as the internet has gotten easier and better and faster, then it's a lot easier for you and I to customize how we want to get stuff. We haven't stopped as consumers. We've just changed how we're getting our things, including food. And that's exactly what happened this week. So your grocery store shopping of this week is going to change. Now, Amazon, of course, you know, who operates in this world of total domination, is buying Whole Foods Market, $13.4 billion, which is really a drop in the bucket for a company the size of Amazon. Amazon's almost a $500 billion market cap company. Again, $1/2 trillion, close to 500 billion market cap of Amazon. So to buy somebody like Whole Foods, even though it's this giant brand that we all know, it's really only $13 billion for them. So not that big of a deal. According to the market, though, the age of going to the grocery store, it's over. No more Whole Foods trips, and certainly no more grocery shopping at places like Kroger or Publix. According to the stock market this week, you can just put a stake in most of these companies involved in how big is the grocery business? Up $630 billion. That's how much food we buy in any given year. Kroger lost almost a third of its value this week. And that was just in 2 days. And this is Kroger is not a biotech stock that's got the promise of some cure on one drug. It doesn't work. You see the stock fall out of bed the next day. This is Kroger. Kroger is the largest grocery store in the world. And it just lost a third of its value in 2 days. That's how much pressure is getting put on these companies. 2 days, $6 billion in market cap wiped out of Kroger. Just like that, just in a snap. Again, largest grocery store in the United States. Albertson, by the way, is second. You don't ever hear in the Southeast, we don't hear the name Albertsons as much. But Albertsons, and they have hundreds and hundreds of stores, but it also owns Acme. That's where I grew up shopping, Acme. There's still Acmes out there. Shaw's, Safeway, Tom Thumb. If you've driven to Florida, you've seen a Tom Thumb. And they're private, so you don't hear about Albertsons. But you look collectively at the grocery business and all the tangential grocery stores like Target, about 20% of their business comes from selling groceries. Walmart, Costco. We're looking at over $30 billion in lost market value on Friday. For the week, Kroger down 28% for the week. Costco down 7.5%. Walmart down over 5%. Target down over 8%. And the culprit, again, is Amazon. Amazon's gain seems to be the rest of the retail world's loss. Or so it seems. We're talking about Money we're talking about Money Matters. Good morning. Welcome to Money Matters. And we're talking about this giant this tectonic shift in the world that we live in. The world changes at the speed of light. Amazon buys Whole Foods Market. The culprit for the market losses we talked about this week. Kroger down 28, Costco down 7.5, Walmart down 5, Target down 8. And all of this is just Amazon's gain. All year we've talked about the Amazon effect, mostly when it comes to retail shopping. So hurting Walmart to the world most directly. Macy's, of course, has been another victim. You've heard that in the news. That stock has been abysmal for a decade, really ever since Amazon came out. And it's not directly by what we buy on Amazon. It's how Amazon and e-commerce as a whole has shifted. It's just shifted our buying habits. Remember, the consumer is fine. You and I are still spending money. In fact, we're spending more money than we were 5 years ago. And quite frankly, even 10 years ago, before the recession even hit. So the consumer is fine. Who serves the consumer is not. So when I say retail and groceries is now included in this, it's e-commerce and data transmission that's making it all possible. So the world we know of is changing at the speed of light. And when I say that, and this is just on a side note, when I say speed of light, I mean that in the most literal sense. Data through the internet effectively can travel the speed of light. Now, we haven't quite reached that speed yet, and your home internet connection isn't quite there yet. But before you know it, we'll all be hooked up to Google Fiber and something called the Hibernia Express fiber optic cable. And data will actually start approaching the speed of light for data. Right now, there's a team of researchers in the UK. They've created a fiber cable that moves data 99.7% of the speed of light. So that would allow for an entire 5 gigabyte high-def movie to be downloaded in less than a second. Now, there was a Wall Street Journal article about how there's a lot of America that's still not connected to internet that's actually worth anything, but that's a story for the other side of the break. So stay tuned. Money Matters right here. News 95.5 and AM 750 WSB. Hi, I'm Wes Moss, and thanks for taking a minute to hear about what's so different about my new book, You Can Retire Sooner Than You Think. So unlike other retirement books, this book will give you a step-by-step guide, whether you're in your 20s or 30s or 40s or 50s, to learn from what these successful and happy retirees did to get there. I hope you enjoy the book, but more importantly, I know that it'll help you retire sooner than you think.